Hi, it's Kim with Vintage Vikings. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do from placemat to journal. I had a couple of placemats that I really love the textile, and I thought why not turn them into some journals, and would do a quick flip through and a little explanation as to how you can pretty much use anything for a cover of your journal. So let's just get started. We will start with the brown one that's on the right. We're just going to move this green one to the left a little bit. So what I started with was a cotton textile table or placemat. Found it at the thrift store. Really just like the colors and the pattern. And so I cut this one in half to make the cover of this journal here. And we'll go to the next one real quick. And this one, I ended up getting two of them. There were two placemats together. They're variegated green, and these are cotton as well, lined. And I thought these would make some really pretty covers. And so I picked those up. And I'll do a quick little flip through so you can see what I turned them into. So this one is, let me look here, 2 signatures. These I'm going to go ahead and list in my Etsy shop. They were really fun to do. And so I'll put all the measurements and the amount of signatures and the page number and everything in there for you. But what I really want to do is just show you how I incorporated this placemat into a cover and how I kind of carried through the colors all the way through on the journal. So this is from a card, a little note card that I had, and I thought, how cute is that to go with this? And just some little leather buttons that came off of a headband. And this is the ribbon closure. And I used this little dangle, which was from an earring that I lost one of them. So I thought, why not turn it into a dangle, and it draws everything together color-wise. I left the spine open so you can see where I've done the signatures. Let me see if I can, there we go. And this closure has a little piece of Velcro, and then this back part will wrap all the way around so that when you're writing it doesn't really get in the way. Here's a little view of some of the dangles that I did on the... I really love using up all of my scrap beads and jewelry to make the little paper clip dangles. That just shows, I'll just flip there. Okay, and as you can see, I used the lining of the placemat as the front cover, and I just liked how that looked. So I added a little pocket, put my journal card in there, note from the bookmaker, and then a fun little envelope with some matching colors with some extra bits left over from when I put this journal together. I figure why not just include those. It also, I put a little extra in a little side envelope as well, the little dangle on it. Okay, we won't go too much into, I won't get into too much detail on the flip through, but I wanted to show you just how the colors kind of all work together throughout this journal. A little piece of stationery, which I really love when you can find the stationery with the cutout edges. Just a pocket. This is from a magazine. And some ephemera, I love making these for journaling spots. Just a little piece of paper. Adds so much color, you can move it around and gives you a ton of journaling space. So we'll just work our way through the journal. Some little plaid notebook paper. Actually, I think this is the front in a book page that you tear when you're destroying a book. And this is just that front page. Just a little journaling card with some mushrooms on it. The colors seem to go really well. Some stationery. I love when I find printed stationery. Little journaling card. Thought that was pretty fun. Another little bauble. And as you can tell, I really went with the browns and rusts throughout this entire journal. I was so inspired by the textile that I wanted to kind of stick to the same colors all the way through. And you don't have to, I just thought it was pretty. This is some napkin that I attached to the back of the music page. I've left quite a bit of the pages for journaling. This was a book that I found. It's all about hearty recipes, so that's for lentil soup. Some little flip downs for journaling space. This is the center of the first signature. Some fun little tidbits in here, just some journaling spaces, some tags. This was fun. Little weekly list, Monday through Friday. You can pull this out and use this. I put a couple of those in here because I thought they looked so pretty in here. Okay, just another little, some foil. I love foil. I love foil paper. I don't know why. A bingo card that just has a simple McDonald's napkin on it. The second page of that savory 1970s cookbook or recipe book, idea book. Tea dyed. Actually, this is not tea dyed. This is onion skin dyed. I used a mixture of just your regular yellow onion with some red onion in, and that's what I got with that. Here is, I was working on little slide out pockets and it just was not working. It didn't look right. The little slide out tabs were so tiny, they just didn't look right. So I just went ahead and put some scrap paper over the top and changed my mind. That's the nice thing about doing this type of interactive journaling. You can pretty much fix any mistake that you make. I left this one here. This is another one of those, my favorite 4 folds, because you can either write 4 different times or you can write it as one solid. This was a little sentiment from the front of a note card with a little dangly bit. It's a journaling space that I just sewed around the edges. Colors all seem to look good. Little piece of wool that went on some craft paper as a ruffle. The back page of that scroll paper, and the other part of that book page paper. All right. These are fun to make too. Instead of always putting our tags in like this, I thought, why not put it in this way with just some extra little tags and tabs and fun bits that I went ahead and just pulled because all of the colors seem to look really nice together. And I'll just put this back on the page with this little bobbly gold paper clip. There we go. Whoops, I missed it. The hard thing about filming is your perspective is a little off. All right, there we go. And then here is that other little paper with the fun edges. And this was done with the exhausted onion skin, and it wasn't coming up very dark. So then I just added a couple drops of red food coloring, and it gave me this rusty pink color. Almost looks like it's avocado dyed, but it's not. Here is just a nice little postcard slipped in a nice little pocket right here. This paper that is part of the signature is drawer liner, the smelly drawer liner, which obviously it's old enough that no longer has a smell, but it's a little thin and it tends to want to keep curling. So instead of cutting it to size, I just folded over just that little bit to give it a little stability when turning the page. And then a little piece of tea-dyed vellum. And here's a piece of plain parchment, and I went ahead and used the same thing, but I wanted it to have a little bit different look. So this one is tea dyed, and this one I left natural. Yeah, this paper is really fun. You can use it for small or really large projects because the pages are so big. This is just a little end pocket I did, and then I put a sticker down so that these could be two separate pockets. I just thought that would be fun. I used up a little bit more of that paper ruffle. This is, I believe this is a piece of wallpaper that I cut, and I added a little envelope with some music paper and flower, and I put some little fun stuff in there. Put a little flower there. This is more of that onion skin dyed paper, a little clear sticker, just some scrapbook paper. I thought it was fun with these letters on the back. I liked this scroll work. Another envelope. This one was fun because it was, let me scoot over there, was lined in gold. Some more just little bits and pieces. Nice top tag. Again, I love that gold foil. Maybe some of you might think it's cheesy. That's okay. I tend to like it. These are just little flower cutouts that I did as a border to stiffen this paper up just a tiny little bit. This is not a tuck or anything. It's just a little point of interest to break up the music page a tiny bit. Oh, I take it back. This isn't the one. This is the back side of, this is one of those fold out, you put your stamp here and you would write on it. I think it's from the 70s. It's a fold out piece of stationery. Another mushroom on the onion skin dyed. This is another piece of that, drawer liner paper. And I liked it because it really matched. And then made a little corner tuck. I left, I actually flipped this over and then put some heavy duty foil cardstock just to give it some flexibility and keep it from rolling. And then just added a little flower with just some bits and pieces. I love trying to use the edges when the edges get this nice crinkly bit when you're dyeing. That was with the black walnut stain that I used. Let's put you back on top. I try to use natural items whenever I can. All right, let's keep going. This is a little napkin notebook. I love little notebooks and I love using napkin. Okay, this is the middle of the second signature. We've got some map page, some little stationery cards that have a scalloped edge, some more onion skin dyed paper. No, that's black walnut, I apologize. And then some little bits and pieces so you can use them throughout. I was going to put these on here. That was my big plan. But then I thought, well, what if whoever buys this doesn't want it to be so busy? So I thought we'll leave those right there. Alrighty, again, just some more little ephemera bits, some little postcard, fake postcards, some extras, more of that paper, and it got brittle so it broke off, but it looks kind of fun. Some more napkin pieces. This is actually a little pocket I made that I turned into a corner tuck as well. This is just a piece of music or a book page with a sticker put on it just to keep this from being just plain. This is a piece of, I guess you would call it fussy cut out of the scrapbook paper. It was just it was a piece that had these on the actual scrapbook paper, so I just cut them out and I thought they looked nice to break up that music page. It's a flip out with a little Ben Franklin advice page. They're kind of funny. I think it's from the 80s. This is not usually my style to do this type of collaging, and so I just thought I had all these bits and they looked nice together. Whoops, I'm trying to pull that off. This was the other part of that scrapbook paper that is, that was just part of the scrapbook paper. So it looked like this was glued down on something and it's extra. So I thought this was just my first try at using this type of a layout. The back page of this. Here is just a little book page envelope. And I put this in there so it didn't get too far on this because this paper is a little on the brittle side. And then this is just a flip up, little journaling spot, and this little luggage. It all seemed to go well together. And this is a little bit more of that collaging to cover up the back of that, the letter page. We don't need to have the alphabet on every page. Alrighty, back of this, some more journaling spaces, little beads. And this is a mixture of that piece of scrapbook paper with some other little bits of my learning how to do collaging. I don't think it turned out too badly. Put a little piece of lace on there. I had just a little bit more than this, and I thought that's a perfect spot for that little piece of lace. And this is just these are some note cards that I found, and I thought it would look pretty in here. So you can journal here and here. This goes. And I added a little bit of hardening because this is the back of that, liner paper. And then this was a little bit too long when I was making the journal. I thought I got it even, so I just put a squiggly line on it so that it finished off really nicely. And then this is the back. I really liked this, so I left it the way it was. And this is just one of those little parts from the scrapbook paper where they give you all the different sayings. I like that little gold foil sun. And here's my little thank you, who it's made by. And then they can either leave that in there or they can take it out if they don't want it to be part of their journal. And again, this one will all be listed in my Etsy shop. I really like how simple this one was, where it's just a little Velcro, and I made it so that you can make it a little bit tighter, and then as this grows, you can just slide it back and it will be fine. All right, we'll quickly go through the other one. Let's look at the placemat. So here is the full placemat, and I really liked this middle section. So how I made this is I just folded it in half, I believe. Let me see. Yep, I folded it in half, and then I believe I cut it across this way. So you're getting this portion of this, and I still have the other half of it to figure out something, but I don't want to make two of the same thing. And then the next one I will probably I'll do a different, maybe fold it the other way. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I really like the fact that it was already backed with some natural color. I love these colors together. And this is what I came up with. This is some flowers. This is from a note card that I got. And I put a little doily with a button. This is a vintage button off of a coat. And I bought the coat at a thrift store. I loved the coat and then realized that it was missing one button. So now I have 3 of those buttons, and I put all new buttons on the coat. And here's a little book plate. I left this where somebody could put their name or their own little sentiment. I used hem tape, and I ironed it flat and made just a little ribbon closure. Alrighty. And again, the measurements and everything will be on my Etsy shop, which should be listed below. Okay, so we open this up, and the inside of this placemat was a little bit stretchier than I had hoped once I cut it and deconstructed it. So I ended up covering the placemat, but you can still see it along the edges. So it does make a nice border around the edge. And then where I just put a little piece of natural gimp trim with a little piece of herringbone bias tape to give it a little bit less green look to it. And here is this book belongs to. I put it right on an envelope, which has this card, which I thought looked really pretty. It's kind of glittery. And this will have the bookmaker's letter goes on this one. I knew there was one thing I needed to finish with this. Alrighty. And started with a little bit of Argyle double-sided scrapbook paper. This is a piece of computer paper that had a border on it. And so I liked how it just left there. And it was a little curled up and I added a border onto it. Made a journaling spot in the middle of the music page. We'll just go through a little belly band with some stamps on it. This was adorable. It's napkin with some little bunnies. I thought that needed to go in there. And with these journals, as you can tell, I went with the color scheme just because I really loved the color of the placemat to start with. This is a piece of ribbed, it's kind of fun, ribbed map of like old world map wrapping paper. It's pretty heavy duty wrapping paper. I found this little sip and chat with Wayne and Mary. I don't even know, it's a little coaster. I thought that was cute, and you can write on the back. This is some green packaging paper that came in a package from overseas, so I ironed it out a little bit and added a craft paper ruffle with a ribbon on it. And then I needed to stiffen it up just a tiny bit because it was a little flimsy. So I added 2 pieces of tea-dyed paper with a little sentiment in the middle that I cut out of something. A little scrapbook paper. This is a little clip-in. This is just a little notebook. It says forget-me-not. Another piece of computer paper. I think this paper was really popular in the 90s where we would print our Christmas letters and stuff on them. I've found that these make really nice pages. A little pocket with a little, you can write onto index card that had some lace, and this tucks in, it's a journal, or not a journaling spot. You can journal on this part of it, and then that just folds up in there. And then this is a faux piece of ephemera. It's actually attached right on there. I thought that was kind of fun. Another one of those 1970s flip out pieces of stationery that you would write on, fold it, and just put a stamp on it, and away it went, which then left a really pretty border here. These were from the card from the front. These were on the back of it with the different cards from the set it came in, so I thought those looked pretty nice on there. I was thinking of maybe putting a flower or something on there, but it got too busy. So some little tags to help decorate this map page up a little bit. And then it made a couple little journaling spots over here with some tea-dyed index card, a little piece of ephemera that I cut the outside, and then just added a little flower. Nice little pocket, and I tried to match it with this page. I didn't like the blue on the back, so I just put a green index card on the back for a journaling spot. This is the front page from a book as well. I love using those pages, trim them down and put them right in. A piece of certificate paper, so it looks like parchment, but it's got the little border on it. This is a nice little pocket tuck. You can move it anywhere you want, fill it with whatever. Again, just some journaling spots, just some little pieces of things you can move throughout your journal. And again, if you like green, this is the journal for you. Scrapbook paper. And this is the middle of the first signature. I just liked stark, plain, so you can color it however you would like to color it if this is your journal. So I try not to make them too overly busy. little piece of ephemera, backed it onto just a piece of scrapbook paper, so both of those can be used or they can be moved. Plenty of room to write. I really liked this paper, so you can journal right on this paper over the top of it with like a thick, chunky marker. That would be really fun. And then fold it. You could fold it up and then nobody can see it. A little top tuck. Some extra little ephemera. And I made those little pockets. It's got a top tag. And you notice it's blue and not green, just because of the map page. Just some little bits and pieces in here to help tone down that map page a little bit. Same as that little journaling space, a little flip up journaling space. And another little pocket. This tag comes out. And there's the other part of this. Of this envelope. You can take it out. Little bits and pieces. All kinds of little fun stuff in here. Again, when I'm doing a journal, I pull out all the things I think I'm going to use, and then whatever doesn't get used in the journal, I tuck in envelopes. I tuck in the little extra bits in a little external envelope. We're to the back page of that paper. Here's another one of those. It's like a Ben Franklin, what happened on a day. It was like a almanac, but not quite. This is a fun border. I watched a video by Natasha from Treasure Books, and I thought that's a great way to help beef up these edges that sometimes get a little rough when we dye them. And I thought that looked really nice. And we're almost to the end. Here's another little pocket on this green paper that needed to be stiffened up a teeny bit. So I made a little fold out journaling spot with this. It's really a decadent wrapping paper. I can't imagine using it as wrapping paper. It's so nice. I wouldn't want to rip it. And if you notice, that's crooked, but that was as big as the piece was, and so I thought, why not use it? Again, stiffened up the edge with a matching piece of heavy-duty scrapbook paper, double-sided. This is a little pocket if you want to tuck something in there. And I think this came off of a card. This is just off of a card, so I keep all my bits and pieces, and the colors seem to look really nice together. Little vintage faux pearl hanging off of there. We've got some fun little birds in here that I turned into a journaling spot. And let's see, what is this? Oh, and another little journaling spot. I love that when I don't look at these for a while, I love that they're kind of a surprise. And then another journaling spot. And just did some areas that if you want to write things down on your music page. This was the back side of the, or not the back side, it would be the bottom of that computer paper that had the border on it. That one just has a little dashed line. I left that. I thought it looked really nice there. The back part of that signature. And here's a little step down kind of corner pocket with my thank you, handmade by Vintage Viking. This was just the scrap bit off of this that when I cut it, it looked like a little crown. So I thought, why not put that on there? I thought that would be sweet on there. So there you go. So there are the two journals I did that were the placemat to journal. So pretty much you can use anything for a cover. I want to do some other ideas of using common things and turning them into junk journals. So be on the lookout for those. and we'll see you soon. Thanks for stopping by, and if you liked this video, if you don't mind giving me a little like or subscribe, that would help out a lot. Thanks so much, and have a great afternoon, everyone.